What is up, gamers? The Red Dragon here, and we are checking out the latest news. Got a question for you. Do you think companies sell more games whenever they put out a demo for their game, or do they sell less games? And I thought it was a pretty interesting question because I've never really sat down to really think about it. I know whenever I first heard about demos coming to consoles, I was pretty excited because I was like, wow, I'm going to download every freaking game and try it out. And then it doesn't take long before you realize, God, it's very time consuming, and there are a lot of crappy games that you don't want to deal with. And honestly, I don't really download a whole lot of games. And I was sitting here trying to think, is there one game that I played the demo for that I just absolutely loved, and I ended up getting it without the intention of ever getting it before I played that demo? And I really couldn't think of one right offhand. I'm sure there's probably some. To be honest, the bigger games like Battlefield or Call of Duty and stuff, if they put out a demo, you know, I'll download it, I'll play it, but it wouldn't matter. Even if I hated it, I'd probably still buy the game because there are certain titles that I just know I'm going to try, and I'm not going to base that decision solely on, you know, a 30-minute segment from Campaign or something like that. But anyway, the reason this got brought up is because I've got a story on the front page of VGN where this guy, he's an analyst, he's a professor, and he looks at this stuff, and he brought up a chart of Xbox 360 sales. And there was a line graph, and like at the bottom of the chart, like the games that sold the lowest, they didn't put out any demo or trailer. But if game companies put out a demo, then they did end up selling more games. But what was interesting is the games that sold the absolute most were simply the games that put out a trailer, and they teased the gamer. They didn't give you an option to try it. And he said it really makes, you know, perfect sense, and it does after you hear him explain it. He says, you know, you look at a trailer and you see these awesome things happening on screen, and so you want to get home and you want to be able to replicate that, and you think, you know, if I'm playing this game, I want to be able to get that sword, or I want to be able to do that move and all that. And then once you get to try it and you play it, I mean, the hype factor probably goes down a bit. And so then you realize that you had it built up in your mind a lot better than what it was whenever you actually got a hold of the game and got to play it, and then now all of a sudden you're not even interested in the game anymore, even though you saw this awesome trailer. And so a lot of companies do shoot themselves in the foot by putting out bad demos. Now, I have played good games that put out bad demos, and again, I wish I could come up with examples, but it's really hard for me to think right now exactly what it is. But I will tell you, the games that I do enjoy the demos and I have purchased, they have never been big games actually, but the indie games on the Xbox Live Marketplace, those indie games that I wouldn't have even known if they had existed, I would have no desire or reason to buy it before, you know, it came out. Those games where I wouldn't have known, the demos I know do work for me there. So he doesn't really go into that, and he kind of just looked at the Xbox 360 sales. But like, I know, like on Android or your phone or tablets and stuff like that, and even like I said with Xbox Live indie games, for me, demos do make an impact in that arena. But if we're talking about big blockbuster titles, for me, it usually doesn't make a difference. So I want to know, what is a game that you can think of that you played the demo and you fell in love with it and you ended up buying the game simply because of the demo? But also tell me, are there games that you were so freaking excited for that after you ended up playing the demo, it was like, I think I'll pass this time? Post your comments below. I want to know what you think. And if you want to read this story, if you want to read this speech by this guy, it's a really good speech and goes into a lot of in-depth stuff. You can check it out. The links will be in the description box. And as always, you can get the latest news and updates on VGN, videogamesandnews.com. That does it for me, The Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.